Hello! Welcome to Pint of a Story with me, Shobit. In this podcast, we bring you pint-sized stories from indie authors such as myself that you are likely not to have read before. Links to where the stories live on the internet will be in the show notes or description, and we do encourage you to click on them and read the stories for yourself. Hope you enjoyed today's story, and if you do, please share it around and subscribe if you like.
Tales of grandeur, immoral and pure, greed and secrets, passion and glory. The pulse is rising, the plot's surprising, you're captivated, that's the point of the story.
Yes, that is indeed the Pint of a Story, and this week's story is called The 516. First written by yours truly and published on showbitthebral.com on March 2020. Your feedback or comments really do matter, so please leave some. And hope you like this one. Here goes. She would get off the office car half a block away on the interstate every evening and would walk down to her apartment building past the bus stop. It was a short walk that she thought she needed before unwinding at home. The music from the cafes and the smell of fresh baked bread and coffee reminded her of home. She had only moved a few weeks back and enjoyed her work, but the apartment never felt like home. Home was a house, not an apartment. The other thing she had begun to like was the old man at the bus stop. He was always there reading a book, save the days she ran late from the office. Maybe it was the way he was dressed, with his tweed coat and his newsboy hat, or perhaps it was his perpetual smile. Whatever it was, she enjoyed seeing him sit there and read his book. She smiled once when he looked at her, and he smiled back, nodding. That was all the interaction they had, a nod and a smile. Even though she didn't step out much into the neighborhood, spending Saturdays at the studio as well for work, she enjoyed watching the corner shop and the cafes from her window when she wasn't working on anything at home. To shop, she preferred to go to the mall every Sunday. It was a good long walk and nobody there was interested in who she was and where she lived. It was after one of these mall runs that she spoke to him for the first time. "So you're a mall shopper then?" he said from behind her as he entered her building. She looked at her bags and smiled. He walked ahead of her and opened the door for her. "You're missing out on the best artisanal breads from the cafe around the corner," he said. "Oh, I'll try them sometime soon. Thanks," she said. "You live here?" "No, the building opposite. I come here Sundays to check on an old friend of mine. A lady on the second floor." His voice was warm as his personality. "Missed you at the bus stop last evening," she said. "I left work late and it was already dark by the time I reached." He pressed the call button for the lift. "Who do you wait for?" "Oh, the 516, he replied. "It's the bus from my wife's workplace to here." She got into the lift. "I'll take the stairs," he said. "Doctor's advice," as he smiled and waved at her. Next time on, they exchanged a couple of words as she passed the bus stop, just remarking on the weather and other mundane stuff. Then she bumped into him at the cafe when she went out to get those artisanal breads he had suggested a few times. It turned out he spent a lot of time there, having coffee, reading books, and chatting with the regulars. It was there she had her first long conversation with him, and what a wonderful conversation it had turned out to be. They often chatted after that, every time she went to get the breads she had now taken a liking for. "My daughter is visiting," he said one day, beaming. "You should meet her. She's about your age, and she's a chef. She has her own restaurant in the city." "I would love to," she replied. "Why don't you come over for dinner tomorrow and I'll introduce you to? She gets quite bored here." "Sure." She took wine and flowers for the lady of the house. His daughter answered the door and welcomed her in. "He'll just be a minute," she said. "He just rushed down to get you the cupcake he said you liked so much from the cafe." "Oh, he's just so sweet, your father," she said. "Would you please keep these?" She handed the wine and the flowers. "I was hoping to give them to your mother. Is she not home?" "My mother?" The girl looked surprised. "Yes." "But don't you know? She passed." "When?" she asked her, horrified, hand to her heart. "It's been 7 years, give or take." She couldn't believe her ears. "But," she hesitated, "but he waits for her every day at the bus stop." "Did he say he waits for her?" she asked her, smiling slightly. "Yes, I mean, he's there every day, waiting for the 5-something bus she comes back in." Now she was certainly smiling. "He waits for the bus," she said. "Not for Mama. She's been gone a long time." "Then what does he wait for the bus for?" "Have a seat," she said. "When Mama passed, he wasn't himself for the first few days. They'd been married over 35 years. Then I noticed he would sneak out every evening, and whatever it was he was doing, it was helping. So I checked on him one day and saw him wait for the bus at the bus stop from a distance. After the bus left, he got up and came back home. I asked him why he went, and he said that for years together, waiting for the 5:16 had been the best part of his day." So, we hope you liked that story enough to tempt you to subscribe. We encourage you to share it with anyone else you can think of that would like to hear our stories as well. But do not forget, it is the writers that make the stories, so please read them for yourself by clicking the link in the description. That'll mean the world to us. Thank you for your time, and we hope to see you with our next. In the meantime, remember, if you can't find what you're looking for, create it. Take care.